Sean Payton is not putting the Broncos' loss to the Chargers on Bo Nix. Instead, he pointed to 3 things on the offensive side of why the Broncos lost the game. He said penalties, eliminating negative plays, and being better on first and second down to avoid long third downs. Super Bowl 50 champ Bennie Fowler, do you agree with Sean?
I do agree with Sean. Yes, Bo does have to be better, but I do agree. Penalties definitely killed him. The Broncos, 10 penalties for 90 yards. You had 7 third and 10 plus, and then you had 7 second and 10 plus. It's hard to win on offense like that. Being in second and long, being in third and long. I mean, you can see that throughout the league. That's just not a Broncos thing. It is hard to get first downs when it's second and 10. Or third and 10 plus. You had some third and 19s. You had some second and 20s in there. You know, the quarterbacks, great quarterbacks and coaches that I played for always talked about, playing ahead of the sticks. Get to first and second down and then get another first down. You try not to get to third downs if you don't have to. And if you do have to get to third downs, you want it to be 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, these third downs. If you actually think and look at the Philadelphia Eagles right now, not playing great offense, not playing sexy offense, not scoring, a crazy amount of points. But what do they get to? 3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And then they keep the drive going.
Push, baby.
they get to those third and shorts and 4th and shorts. And when Sean talks about that and winning right there, winning on first and second down, that's what you have to do. And I think that's what he's talking about. Penalties are definitely drive killers. I don't know what the percentage is, but we talked about it yesterday during the game that when you get a penalty on a drive, your chances of scoring a touchdown on that drive got to be less than 20%, because that puts you in that 1st and 20 or that 2nd and 20. So when you think about those things, penalties and sacks are drive killers. I don't believe there were any sacks yesterday that the Chargers had that I can recall. But the penalties are like sacks. So I know from Payton and playing with him that if you take a sack on a drive, you have a 7% chance to score a touchdown. So that's what? 7% chance.
No wonder Sean is so focused on the negative plays when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. We heard about the formula that he created when he scouted Patrick Mahomes and decided he wanted to draft him in 2017. It took 3 things into account. It took sacks, fumbles, and interceptions by a quarterback. And the lower the percentage on all of those combined, the more he wanted a guy. And Bo Nix, we know through that equation, was graded even better than Mahomes for that. And that's the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. First and second downs are important. You don't want to turn the ball over, which the Broncos didn't do yesterday, but you have to avoid penalties. Penalties are drive killers. You get all this momentum, and then you have the drive killers there. So those things have to be corrected. Those things have to be cleaned up. Obviously, Bo has to do some better things with his feet. We talked about the flea flicker play where I blame it on both players. I think Bo...
Mims and Bo.
Yeah, Mims and Bo. I think Mims, if he runs down with his head down after he gets past a defender for even 3 yards, he runs under that easily. It's no different than him during punt return. If the punt return goes beyond your head, what does he do? He runs back there first and then picks his head back up. Bo also on this, he jumps into the throw.
Yep.
Which puts a lot of mustard on the ball. So these are things that have to be cleaned up. I think Henry said this yesterday. I'm going to give Henry the credit, but he said this yesterday during the hang tank after the show, is that the Broncos are close. There are a lot of plays that we just watched before we even got on this little mini pod where there are blocks that are missed, where there could be explosive plays. Everybody's going to look to those plays where Bo missed the throws, but there are a ton of plays out here where things aren't blocked up properly, and there are people running wide open that if Bo actually does have enough time, he can get to those progressions.
Yeah, the reason people put it on Bo is because everybody's just watching the quarterback. Like the casual football fan, the snap happens and you're just watching the ball for the entire play. And that means you're watching Bo Nix and where he throws the ball every single play. And if he would have hit some of those other deep balls, I think the Broncos win this game. Like he had his chance. If he would have taken advantage of all of his opportunities, Broncos win this game. If he takes advantage of all of them, they're probably winning it pretty easily too. But because people are so tuned into the quarterback, that's what they circle. Instead of, if Quinn Miners has a better game, if T.R. Tart isn't just beating up on him from start to finish, there are a couple of those plays that could have been a lot easier. The run game might have looked a little bit better. If Sean Payton isn't getting outcoached in the early going. The Chargers throwing all those run blitzes at him, and they just can't find an answer. So he goes to the screens. But then when he goes to the screens, guess what? There goes the run blitzes, and the defense was just kind of a step ahead for that whole first quarter, and the Broncos don't get anything going. Penalties, second drive, just over before it starts because you have the 10-yard penalty. There's so many different things that could have gone differently that could have changed the outcome of the game. It's just that, again, it's the excitement of football is the quarterback in the passing game, and Bo Nix drops back and throws it 40 yards. It's like, oh, here it comes. And the disappointment when it's just off, that resonates so much more than digging in and seeing like, oh, yeah, Quinn Miners just got beat like 4 times by a guy who we weren't that worried about coming into the game. That story just doesn't get told nearly as much as the Bo Nix story.
Everything you guys said is true, and that's why not all the blame is on Bo Nix by any means. And Bennie, even in certain plays, just like you broke down, an overthrow is on Bo. There could also be some truth in being a former receiver. I totally trust you. You got to run with your head down. So it's not all on Bo, but it's not. People aren't just focused and putting extra blame on a quarterback for when they win or lose. Quarterbacks probably get too much credit when they win, probably too much blame when they lose. It's also the most important position. Like, there's no doubt about that. So it is okay to say, like, okay, we will hold this guy to a higher standard. That's why Patrick Mahomes gets paid, $50 million? And Travis Kelce, who arguably was the best tight end for many years, couple of years ago, was getting paid like $15 million. Like, they're the best at their positions, yet one is getting paid 3 times more than the other, just because it's that much more important of a position. And so ultimately, though, yeah, Bo has to be better. There were other reasons, though, and one of the things you pointed to being better on first and second down, that's something Sean pointed to. Sean said that the Broncos' average third down was 3rd and 11. And he said, it doesn't matter how good of a quarterback you are, the best in the league are going to struggle. And he is right about that. One thing that's inexcusable about this game is J.K. Dobbins, your starting running back, your lead running back, and this is not just on J.K., it's on the entire run game operation, probably play calling, and then probably has to go with the passing game as well. Had 4 rushes for -4 yards at halftime. Talk about putting the running game in an awful position, the pass game in an awful position, the play caller in an awful position, the quarterback in an awful position. And
the play caller.
What?
The play caller in an awful position.
Yes. Because
he's calling the plays.
Because if the guys aren't executing, and then if you call a run play and it's not executed, let's say it's blocked up right, but it's not executed, just like the pass game not executing, then it's 2nd and 11. That puts the play caller in a bad position.
Or the play caller can put them in a better position on first down. And
no doubt.
Maybe it's if it's the run to the left, then you change to the right, giving him the play early enough to dissect those things. I see Bo doing this.
Yeah.
Every play.
Yeah.
Give him the play call.
Yeah. That could. We don't know exactly. That's probably.
That's a play caller.
Probably. And that needs to be cleaned up.
No,
So
that's not probably. That's Sean Payton. You just talked about the importance of the quarterback position and the way they get paid.
Yep.
Is Sean the highest paid coach in the league?
One of them.
Yeah. Probably should fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're in week 3 now. So a lot of issues on why the Broncos struggled. Sean said it's not on Bo, and we laid out some pretty good reasons why it's not all on Bo right here. That's going to do it for this mini pod. Make sure to tune in to the show throughout the week.